Hi everyone, welcome to Now What with Britt and Shawn. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Britt. On our channel for grades K to 8, we learn new things and have some fun.
Woo!
So that's how we start every one of our episodes. We welcome whoever's watching and we introduce ourselves. We just wanted to give you a little taste of what to expect when you tune in. To do that, you can check out our YouTube channel here. All of our videos are there, description of our channel as well. So yeah, please check it out. If you like what you see, subscribe, like our videos, and yeah, we really appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about first why we started the channel, then how we got started. Next we'll give you some tips and make you aware of some of the challenges that we faced when it comes to making videos or any asynchronous content for that matter. Then we'll do a quick demo lesson. And hopefully after that, if there are any questions, we'll give you some information so you know how to reach us. But before we jump into our channel and about our journey, we'll share a little bit about who we are.
So I'm an Ontario certified teacher. I currently work with the Toronto District School Board, and I've been a teacher for over 9 years. Before the Toronto District School Board, I was a middle school teacher in the private board. I have qualifications in the primary, junior, intermediate, and senior levels, and also I have additional qualifications in math, special education, and also ESL.
And I'm Britt. I've been designing curriculum for almost a decade now, primarily within the nonprofit sector. I graduated from OISE. I have my MA in Curriculum Teaching and Learning, and I did my specialization in the SIDE program, Comparative International Development and Education, and I'm currently pursuing a certificate in Instructional Design. So, why we started this channel? Right around the time when the global pandemic became our reality and increasingly the reality in Canada, both of us were unfortunately laid off from our jobs. So since then I've actually been recalled, but at the time our channel was really born out of the very question we were asking ourselves, which was, now what? Now how will we spend our time during this pandemic? Now how will we occupy a space within the educational landscape, especially when it feels like a really important place to be right now? And yeah, now what will we do? So in addition to being passionate educators, we're both really passionate lifelong learners. So we knew that we wanted to hone our skills and specifically our ed tech skills. So we knew we wanted to make good use of this time to do that. And at the same time, we noticed lots of families and educators asking themselves this very question too of now what? Now how will we educate our children in the midst of all of this? Now how will we figure out ways to organize our times in ways that really maximize our capacities and continue to provide quality experiences to kids? So we realized that we wanted to be part of that conversation and hone sort of our scope and skill set so that we could be of good use during this time. So we decided that we would build digital skills and support families and educators by providing them with quality educational content that could be done anytime. So video really felt like the right medium for us for that reason. That involved simple, accessible materials. We wanted to make sure these were things that families and educators either already had on hand or could easily get close by. And really that our content was engaging and exciting and fun. So this became our sort of North Star. This was our mission. We figured worst case scenario, we'll develop these technical skills that we thought would surely be relevant during these times and that we were both sort of seeking anyway. And better case scenarios, we reach families or educators who could probably use good quality content.
So I'll talk about how we got started, and this could probably, give you some tips and some ideas on how you can get started too. So the first thing is we had no experience whatsoever. So we had never made video before. We had never used editing software. We didn't even know where to begin. So we spent a couple weeks doing a lot of research. The good thing is that there's lots of information available to us now, right? So you go on YouTube itself and you can find tons of videos that can help you out with lots of things when it comes to making videos and editing videos. So we had decided, since we had both lost our jobs, we had both decided that we wanted to get equipment, but we needed to stay under a budget of around $300. And so initially when we started researching, we noticed a lot of video cameras, and they were very expensive. Even like the lower end DSL cameras were about $500 to $700, and that already broke our budget. So we dug in a little bit more, did some more research, and realized that a lot of people suggested that using a cell phone is okay. Especially if you have an iPhone. iPhone's cameras are comparable with many low-end cameras, and so we already had an iPhone, so we decided to use that. And during our research, we discovered that if you have good lighting, which is actually sometimes more important than the camera itself, you can actually get away with using a cheaper camera. So the reason being is that the lighting actually, because your picture is lit up more, then the camera's not working as hard and doesn't have to worry about being a higher definition. So what we did was we purchased a couple of lighting stands, which we're using right now actually, and then we purchased a tripod and also a microphone. Sound is also very important when you're making videos, just because the quality of sound, you can always pick up a lot of things when you're using a cell phone. You can hear static, fridges running, noises from outside. So getting a cheap mic, we got one for about $100. We still have yet to receive it yet because of COVID, so it's still in shipping. But if you watch our videos, we've managed to still create good sound through the editing software and the editing equipment. But hopefully, once we get the microphone, it's actually going to be much better than before. We also we got very creative with a lot of things too, a lot of the extras that you need when you're filming. So in our videos, we do a lot of green screen shots, meaning that we superimpose us in front of different videos and different images to give the illusion that we are visiting some far off place. In one of our videos, we're visiting space. Another one, we're visiting a museum. So we didn't want to go and buy a green screen because they can be expensive and they're kind of hard to find room, and our apartment's rather small. So we actually just went to the dollar store and picked up some green bulletin board, which can can be used as the same type of material. Anyways, it's the same thing as long as it's a green color. There's limited cracks, so we use green thumbtacks, and it seems to work. We're able to use it when we use our editing equipment. Also, too, we were able to find a lot of free software out there, and so can you. So when we do our editing, we use DaVinci Resolve, which is a higher end editing software. But the good thing is that they offer a free version, and the free version has many of the features and elements that the paid version does. And for people that are just beginning or starting out, you're probably not going to need the paid version, which is $300 if you do end up needing it later on. And we decided to go with DaVinci as opposed to Adobe Premiere because Adobe Premiere requires you to pay an annual fee, and DaVinci was free. We also found free other editing equipments for graphic design, such as Canva, which has free accounts also too. Handbrake for converting videos, and we use VLC also too to convert. So yeah, if as long as you do your research, you should be able to find the things that you need as a beginning videographer for under $300, which we were able to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially we got the equipment and we dug right in. We started playing with footage that we already had, and watched videos on how to use each of these elements to create something, and then we just went for it and we created our first thing. So then now for tips for how to create videos and challenges to be aware of. One of our top tips is to always write a script. Whether it's a video or another piece of instructional content, it's really helpful to know at least generally what you're going to say. This will help you also organize your ideas and make sure that the flow of your video or your content meets your objective. It really helps you go back and sort through whether you're accomplishing what you were aiming to accomplish. And editing can only do so much. So write a script. For us, we discovered a formula that works that we tend to use in our scripts and in the delivery of our video. And it's built on repetition. We felt that this would help kids and families know what to expect and to look forward to what's coming next. So we always start the same way. We welcome the people watching and we introduce ourselves. Then typically I'm the one to introduce the topic. For example, today we're going to, explore space. Then at that point, Shawn may or may not understand the topic, but he'll ask questions. His character is silly and inquisitive, and he's seeking, knowledge, which is exciting. And my character is that I'm knowledgeable and well-informed, and I have information to share. At that point, Shawn comes up with a creative way to demonstrate his understanding. And we intentionally sort of modeled that in a way that felt applicable and real to a learner's experience. It's really about being inquisitive and, wanting to go through the steps of applied learning and then creation. Then we do a show and tell. The activity is usually hands-on, so it culminates in something like a piece of artwork or some kind of science experiment that you can see and hold. So typically during this show and tell period, I'll offer up some modifications based on something that I've done a little bit differently, an approach that I've taken. And then we ask the question, now what? And that's an opportunity to share an idea or two for how you could extend the learning. From there, we do our handshake and sign off, and we'll just show you. It looks like this. We go do, 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 do. So we end every video that way, and then we roll the credits. Your formula will really depend on what the focus of your videos is, and most importantly, who your audience is. So that's our next big tip, is to know your audience. We decided early on that we wanted our audience to be families and educators of grades K to 8. We speak to kids directly. And we were very clear for ourselves, we did not want to seem like a school. We wanted to provide quality educational content and fun, high-interest activities with a lesson built into it to tie meaningfully to the activity. And that was very intentional for us. That's a lot of learning that we did around, or that we had around how to engage users on YouTube, and this seemed to make the most sense. So we've intentionally also chosen hands-on activities like art and science experiments. These tend to be popular. The videos include lessons and not just demos. So we saw lots of videos on YouTube and being shared around as resources during this time that had a great activity, a demo or a tutorial of, for example, how to make a tornado in a bottle, but no real learning to go along with it and to ground the activity. So we wanted to ensure that we had those two elements in each of our videos. And then in addition to that, knowing our audience has also meant using language that's accessible, using fun colors and graphics and images in our videos, and really trying to make it fun and engaging. So we know that asynchronous engagement looks quite different from synchronous engagement. You can't gauge interest, you can't answer questions. So little things we've done to ensure that we're still reaching our audience is to try to think really holistically about what the experience is like for them, give practical tips based on questions they might have as they're going through an activity, for example, and really make sure that the objective is clear pretty early on for the learner, and that, again, the activity is meaningfully tied to the learning.
Another tip is don't use copyrighted material. So there's actually no need to actually use any copyrighted material. I know it's very tempting because you might see a video or some music that you'd like to use from a popular song, but I mean it's not worth the trouble. There are so many websites out there that offer free media. So if you're looking for pictures and videos, you can look up Pixabay or Pexels. They offer public domain pictures and videos. Also, Wikimedia also does also. Then there's also places that aren't public domain necessarily, but they fall under Creative Commons. The idea with Creative Commons is, as long as you, depending on the licensing, as long as you attribute or credit the artist, then you can usually use their work for free. So there's websites and there's art out there and videos out there that you can use as long as you're crediting the artist, the source from which you got it from, and also the license number, which you can find all that information if it is a piece of media that does require attribution. There's also for music, which usually seems to be a problem, or even sound effects. We found that using YouTube's audio library was very effective. They have tons and tons of tracks for music and also for sound effects. And like I said, there's no point taking copyright music. If you do take it and YouTube finds out, if you get 3 strikes, your channel's canceled. So it's just not worth it. And there are numerous amounts of free places where you can find media that you don't require copyright or licensing. Another tip, promotion. So being that we are a channel for children, YouTube actually has a lot of requirements about that that just actually were implemented in 2020. There is an act that was passed called COPA, which is the Childhood Privacy Protection Act. And they're there. It's actually a really good act. It actually limits the ability of websites to deliberately target and harvest personal information from children under 13. So it's really good. The problem is, though, because of it, YouTube has put a lot of strict and stringent rules for creators, for content creators that are making videos for children. So it limits your ability to promote your website your channel on YouTube itself. Some of these things are like you can't put a watermark on, which usually on a video for adults, there's a watermark on usually the bottom right screen, and you can click it and you can subscribe to a channel right away. That is not allowed. Video cards are also not allowed. So those are images of videos that will appear at the end of a video, what you can click on, and then you can just continue watching more of the videos from your favorite creator. And they also don't allow comments, so you can't engage with the audience. Now, you might say, well, okay, well then I'll just say that my channel isn't for kids, it's for adults. The problem with that, though, if you're caught and you've done that, and you actually, and they believe, or your website, or your channel is deemed a channel for children, you can face a fine up to $42,000, so it's not worth it. That being said, we are not a monetized site anyways. The reason why we want to promote our site is we do want to actually reach a lot of educators and parents and children, so we can share our lessons and our ideas. So we've been using social media a lot. So we've created accounts on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, LinkedIn page, TikTok account, Instagram account. And during the week, we send out reminders that a video is coming out. We send pictures of our exemplars or samples of what we've created, short videos of science experiments, just to try and promote the videos. And also another effective way too is within YouTube is to create a thumbnail. Thumbnails are the pictures when you're going through the different videos and you see the images of the videos, and a lot of times they have like really cool graphics. That is a thumbnail. Now you can personally make your own thumbnail, which we do through Canva. And if you don't make a thumbnail, YouTube will just take a still shot of a part of your video, and it could be absolutely anything. It could be you making a silly face. It could be I don't know, a picture of the ground. Whatever was on your video, they throw something up. So it's recommended that you do take the time to make a thumbnail. The more attractive, with nice lettering and a little bit of graphics, really help for people to click on them. Also too, having an intro video. So when you do enter the channel, we have an intro video that kind of tells what our channel's about. It's very effective too, because it gives people an idea of what you guys are about, what you stand for, and what they can come to expect when they're viewing your episode. So it's important to have an intro video. One more thing before I let Brittany continue is take advantage of SEO strategies, meaning search engine optimization. So if you go on YouTube and you start to click in a category in the top of the search bar, say for example you are making educational videos for children, as soon as you pop in education, it will self-populate a bunch of suggestions. The suggestions are actually the searches that are most likely to be searched. So that's what people are actually searching for when they type in education. those titles that they give you, or those search suggestions that they give you, are something that you should use in your titles of your videos, in the descriptions of your videos, or even in a section when you're making your videos, which is called a tag section, where you can actually tag a bunch of words in order to find people that are looking for your videos. So, like I said, go into the search in YouTube, type in whatever category or type of video, and it will self-populate. And the top 4 or 5, make sure that they're there in your description or in at least your tags.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just some final thoughts as you've gathered from here. This is still a really new thing for us. We started this channel in April, so we're really only a couple months in. We do have a handful of videos at this point, and through this experience, we've taken away loads of good learning that we're excited to share with you. Practical tips, as you've heard, but then just general tips to keep in mind as you're creating any sort of asynchronous content, videos included. Doing it is half the battle, so don't overthink it. Just dive into it. You're never going to be 100% ready, but you'll learn as you begin making content, and you'll get better each time. So really embrace the journey and get excited about learning. This one seems obvious, but set goals and come up with a plan for how you'll reach them. That was really key for us. As Shawn mentioned before, we had to learn how to do the sound editing. And so you'll notice in our first video on graffiti art, the sound quality isn't as strong as later videos. And we set a goal to learn how to do sound editing, and we met our goal. So those sorts of milestones are really helpful, and also celebrate those accomplishments when you've learned a new skill or when you've figured something out. Be curious and be resilient. So this is a steep learning curve. Yep, and failure leads to, oops, I'm sorry. So it's important to feel motivated by your questions, and there are loads of resources there to help you find answers. So yeah, really get excited about the questions that you have and be persistent in finding answers. I like to say fail forward. So this means learn enough to practice and then fail, so that you can learn some more and then practice and then fail over and over and over again, because that is the way to grow. So embrace opportunities to see failure as a way to build your skills and your strengths. Don't be discouraged if it seems like no one's watching or using your materials. This is a common experience, and for so many reasons this might be the case. But really remember your reason for doing this in the first place. For us, if we reach one kid, then we know that the effort was worth it. So really think about what you're doing it for and what your aim is, and allow that to be fuel for you throughout this journey. And always, always, always have fun. It's hard work, and they aren't always glorious, great, exciting moments. But we do have loads of fun doing it. We get really excited when we've reached our goals. And each time we create and put out a new video, it's like a whole new experience for us. So make sure you're enjoying it. Otherwise, why do it? And now Shawn's going to demonstrate an activity.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a demo lesson for you. So this is actually from episode 6, which is about lava lamps, where we taught kids how to make their own do-it-yourself lava lamp, and also talked about molecular density. So to do this activity, all you need is a small jar, and you're going to place about a third way up of water in the jar, and then also going to add some food coloring so it kind of looks really cool when it starts to activate. And then from the rest of the way, after the third of water, you're going to fill it up with cooking oil. I recommend using vegetable oil or canola oil just because it's cheaper. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need. And then an Alka-Seltzer pill is what we're going to drop in. And then if you do have a LED light or a flashlight, it actually looks really, really cool. So
should we turn off the lights?
I think we should leave it on.
Leave them on.
Okay. Yeah, because last time we tried to. Yeah, can you steady it for a second? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just going to drop in the Alka-Seltzer, and Okay, let's see what happens. You want to try taking off one light?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything around us is made up of molecules. The molecules in water are dense, which means they're packed close together. The molecules in oil are not as dense. That's why the oil floats on top of the water. When you add the Alka-Seltzer tablet, it sinks to the bottom and starts to dissolve. As it dissolves, it makes gas or carbon dioxide. The gas is less dense than the water and oil, so it floats to the top. The gas bubbles bring some colored water with them to the top. When the gas comes out of the colored water, the water gets heavy again and sinks back to the bottom. It does this over and over again until the Alka-Seltzer is completely done.
Something kind of magical about that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's really fun. And you can reuse this a few times. You just have to seal it up. We've had this one sitting here for a couple weeks, and we just can add Alka-Seltzer and it works again. It's a really, really cool activity. So that is pretty much it for our presentation about what we do and how you guys can begin. If you do want to watch our videos, we have about 8 videos online right now. And you can go to youtube.com/c/nowwhatbritt and Shawn. And we have a video on graffiti art. We have a video on baking with fractions, magic flashlight art.
A tornado in a bottle, as we mentioned before. Also lava lamps, as you just saw. We have Pride Month tape reveal art, which is a really fun one. And optical art is our newest. We also have space scratch art here, which is also just one of my favorites. So be sure to check those out.
If you have any questions also too, you can ask them on Twitter, or you can also go to either Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or Instagram, and you just have to search for Now What Britt and Shawn, and you can find us on there. So you can ask us, you can interact with us, join our pages. And even just check out our YouTube. There is a discussion panel or discussion button on YouTube. So even though there's not a comment section where we can discuss in comments, you can actually put a message in the discussion part and we can actually talk that way too. Okay, well, thanks again.
See you next time.
See you next time.